but could now be worth over $1 million. Imagine holding something so tiny, so ordinary looking, and realizing it could change your life forever. That's exactly the story of the 1977 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny, a coin so rare, collectors across the country are scrambling just to get a glimpse. Most people don't even notice the difference between a 1977 penny and a stack of change in their pocket. But this one is different. Its story begins in the quiet halls of the Denver Mint, where a tiny mistake during production created a coin that would one day make headlines. Experts call it a mint mark anomaly, a flaw so subtle that the untrained eye would never catch it. But for coin hunters, it's a golden ticket. Collectors were shocked when the first 1977 D penny with this unique minting error surfaced at auction. A simple pocket change discovery turned into $1 million miracle almost overnight. One man had been saving coins for decades, unaware that among the ordinary pennies, a hidden treasure was waiting. When the coin was finally examined, the dealer's jaw dropped. This was no ordinary penny, but what happened next stunned the entire coin world. Word spread like wildfire. Dealers, investors, and hobbyists started combing through loose change in hopes of finding their own ticket to millions. What made this coin so valuable? It's all about the details: a misplaced mint mark, slight doubling, and unusual die cracks that make this penny virtually one of a kind. Miss just one tiny feature, and you might mistake it for a regular 1977 penny worth mere cents. Imagine the tension when coins were submitted to grading companies. Professionals meticulously inspected each one, magnifying every curve, every letter. And when the rarest specimens were confirmed, the excitement exploded. Suddenly, people realized that a coin sitting in a drawer, forgotten for decades, could be worth more than most people earn in a lifetime. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. That misplaced mint mark isn't just a flaw. It's a signature of rarity, a proof that mistakes at the mint can become life-changing. One single penny can carry the weight of history, and in this case, the weight of unimaginable wealth. Collectors were willing to pay thousands, even tens of thousands, just for a chance to own it. But the story doesn't end there. Some coins were sold quietly, off the record, in private sales. Dealers were desperate, sometimes offering cash up front to anyone who could produce this rare penny. Families discovered it hidden in jars, old wallets, or boxes of coins from decades past. One woman even found hers tucked inside a birthday card she had saved since childhood. And then came the auctions, where the drama reached its peak. Bidders battled for every specimen, some going to extreme lengths, knowing that owning this coin was more than a purchase. It was a legacy. Stories circulated about the tension in the auction room, the whispers, the gasps when the hammer fell. $1 million offers weren't uncommon. First, check the mint mark. The D must be exactly in the spot where Denver placed it in 1977, but look closely. Is it doubled, slightly off-center, or distorted? Examine the edges, the die cracks, the tiniest irregularities. Authentic coins often have a subtle shine, a certain weight, and feel unlike any regular penny. Mistakes abound in identification. Many who thought they had found a rare penny were disappointed, simply because they overlooked a tiny detail. Dealers warn that even minor errors in grading or misidentifying the mint mark can mean the difference between a few cents and over $1 million. And that's the incredible part. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, mixed in with your everyday coins, waiting to be discovered. Collectors continue to scour coin rolls, banks, and flea markets, hoping for the thrill of discovery. Some will find nothing, others will strike gold. Every coin hunt carries suspense, the kind of anticipation that grips your chest when you realize history might be in your hands. That's the allure of the 1977 D Lincoln penny. It's not just a coin. It's a story, a mystery, a potential ticket to wealth that could appear in the most unlikely place. One man described the moment he realized the penny in his pocket was genuine, a surge of disbelief, excitement, and pure joy. Suddenly, years of collecting, years of scanning ordinary coins, made sense. The penny wasn't just metal, it was hope, a bridge between everyday life and an extraordinary fortune. Only a trained eye or a careful comparison to verified examples will reveal the genuine $1,000,000 penny. Look for the D mint mark anomaly, die doubling, and the subtle imperfections. Avoid fakes, reproductions, and common errors that won't carry the same value. One correct detail can make all the difference between a coin worth a few dollars and a true collector's dream valued at over $1,000,000. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1,000,000. Every time you reach for change, every time you sift through a coin jar, remember this story. Because the 1977 D Lincoln penny isn't just a coin. It's a hidden miracle, a secret fortune, and it could be yours. But today, it could be worth over $1,000,000. Imagine holding something so ordinary, yet so extraordinary, that dealers are literally racing to get their hands on it. This is the story of the 1972 no mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin that could change a life overnight. For decades, the 1972 Lincoln penny seemed like any other. It jingled in pockets, rolled across counters, and filled piggy banks. But hidden in its design is a secret so rare, so shocking, that collectors call it a $1,000,000 miracle. The truth is buried in minting mistakes that only the keenest eyes can spot. In 1972, the Philadelphia Mint produced billions of pennies. Yet, some slipped through the system without the mark that was supposed to identify them. These no mint mark pennies are not just unusual, they are virtually mythical. Collectors who know the secret are willing to pay jaw-dropping prices, sometimes over $1,000,000, for the chance to own one. It's not just a missing mint mark. The 1972 no mint mark penny has a subtle, nearly invisible feature, a faint doubling in the letters on the date, or a tiny shift in the Lincoln profile that ordinary eyes would never notice. One collector, rummaging through a box of loose change, spotted a glimmer in the corner of a coin and knew instantly he'd found something incredible. Dealers were shocked when the story hit the market. This one penny, once overlooked and forgotten, suddenly became the most sought-after coin in America. Auctions lit up with competitive bids. Phone lines buzzed nonstop. One coin sold for nearly $1,000,000, an unthinkable number for a coin minted less than 50 years ago. The excitement isn't just about money. It's about the thrill of discovery. One man's pocket change became a story that the coin world couldn't stop talking about. Imagine finding a coin tucked away under couch cushions or in an old jar, ordinary, humble, yet hiding a fortune. Not every 1972 penny without a mint mark is worth millions. The difference lies in condition and subtle features. Collectors look for coins that are uncirculated, with crisp details and no scratches. They check the date closely, examining for tiny anomalies in the lettering, the Lincoln profile, or even the way the coin reflects light. These minute details are the difference between a few cents and a $1,000,000 discovery, and the chase is far from over. Every day, dealers and collectors scour thrift stores, bank rolls, and forgotten drawers. They know that one lucky find could make headlines overnight. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. A coin from someone's grandmother's jar sold for $1.2 million, proving these treasures are still out there, waiting. Even experts warn of mistakes. Some pennies may appear to lack a mint mark but are merely worn down, or struck in a way that mimics the rare no mint mark. That's why careful inspection is essential. The slightest imperfection can make a difference of hundreds of thousands of dollars, or more. Imagine holding this penny between your fingers. It's small, unassuming, yet it carries a history of mistakes, luck, and fortune. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on it, knowing that in the world of coin collecting, opportunities like this appear once in a generation. One man's casual find turned into a headline-making, life-changing $1,000,000 story. Collectors worldwide dream of it. They study, they search, and they hope. Because the truth is, any ordinary stack of pennies could hide a 1972 no mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin that carries the power to turn pocket change into a $1,000,000 miracle. Now, here's how to identify one. Examine the obverse carefully. Look at the D in Liberty. It should be perfectly sharp, with no doubling that isn't characteristic of the known 1972 Philadelphia strike. The profile of Lincoln should have crisp details, especially on the jawline and coat. The coin's surface should be clean, with minimal wear. These are the hallmarks that separate an everyday penny from one worth over $1 million. And the story doesn't end there. Every auction, every private sale, adds to the legend of this coin. Dealers are ready to pay incredible sums. Collectors are training their eyes, learning the secrets of mint errors that most people overlook. Because this isn't just a coin, it's a symbol of possibility. A reminder that life-changing discoveries can come from the most ordinary places. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. A single 1972 no-mint mark Lincoln penny has the power to transform ordinary moments into legendary stories. The thrill, the suspense, the unimaginable fortune, it's all here, waiting for the next person bold enough to recognize it. But today, it could be worth over $1 million. Imagine holding a simple penny in your hand and realizing it has the power to change your life forever. That's exactly what happened with the 1985 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin so rare, so astonishing, that collectors are practically chasing it like a treasure lost to time. Back in 1985, the U.S. Mint produced millions of Lincoln pennies, but somewhere along the line, a handful were struck with a shocking anomaly: no mint mark at all. It might sound small, almost insignificant, but in the world of coin collecting, this tiny detail transforms a common penny into a potential million-dollar miracle. One man found it buried in his pocket change, completely unaware of the fortune he was holding. Collectors were stunned when this coin surfaced. Dealers rushed to examine it, and the auction world was electrified. You see, the absence of that single mint mark isn't just a quirk, it's a window into a minting error that's so rare, most people will go their whole lives never seeing one. The 1985 no mint mark penny is a ghost from history, hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone who knows exactly what to look for. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. A seasoned collector, attending a routine coin show, casually placed a handful of pennies on a table. One coin glimmered differently, almost imperceptibly. At first glance, it looked like every other penny minted that year. But experts quickly identified the missing mint mark, a detail so elusive, it separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. That coin eventually sold for an amount that left jaws dropping, $1.50 million. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. It's not flashy. It's not shiny. But the rarity is hidden in the perfection of its imperfection. Experts emphasize that the edges, the weight, and most importantly, the missing mint mark are what make this penny one of the most sought-after coins in history. Every dealer wants one, every collector dreams of one, and every auction that features it becomes a battlefield for serious money. One man's pocket change became $1 million miracle. He had no idea when he dropped the coin into a jar decades earlier that it would someday transform his life. And this is where the story gets even more unbelievable. The coin wasn't just valuable because it was rare, it carried a legacy, a story of minting anomalies, and a twist of fate that only a handful of pennies in existence share. People still talk about that auction, the frenzy it caused, and the unbelievable calm with which the winning bidder walked away holding a piece of history. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on this coin because they know that every 1985 no mint mark penny is a potential jackpot. But spotting it isn't easy. If you've ever sifted through pennies, you know how quickly a moment of oversight can cost a fortune. The missing mint mark is subtle, often faint, sometimes barely noticeable, and it's easy to pass over without even realizing it. But those who see it, who recognize its rarity instantly, know they've stumbled upon something priceless. Imagine walking into your kitchen, pulling out a jar of coins, and there it is, sitting quietly, unassuming, a coin that could transform your future. That's the power of the 1985 no mint mark Lincoln penny. It's a whisper from the past, a secret the mint never intended for the public to uncover. And yet, here it is, waiting for someone with sharp eyes and a little bit of luck. This coin has sparked entire communities of collectors, dealers, and auction houses to scour every coin from that year. Forums light up with speculation, experts write guides, and YouTube videos dissect the minute details that separate a potential $1 million penny from a common one. The stakes are high, the excitement is real, and the rewards are unimaginably large. First, look for the absence of the mint mark. No D for Denver, no S for San Francisco. Next, examine the coin for crisp details, proper weight, and no signs of tampering. Many coins are mistakenly assumed to be the rare version, but subtle differences can mean the difference between a common penny and $1 million treasure. Always consult a professional grader before taking any risks. Remember, one small oversight could cost you a fortune. This coin isn't just metal. It's a story, a secret, and a legacy all rolled into one tiny piece of copper. It represents decades of minting history, the thrill of discovery, and the life-changing potential of hidden treasure. Every auction, every collector, and every dealer who crosses paths with this coin understands that they aren't just buying a penny, they are touching history, holding rarity, and stepping into the realm of million-dollar possibilities. The 1985 no-mint mark Lincoln penny could be hiding in plain sight, in jars, drawers, or even forgotten change on a counter. And if you find it, if you recognize it, you're holding a coin that could make dreams come true. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. But today, it could be worth over $1 million. You may think you're just looking at a simple 1991 Lincoln penny, but collectors across the country are going wild over it. Dealers are practically begging for any hint of this rare treasure. One man's pocket change became $1 million miracle, and it all starts with a tiny, almost invisible mistake during the coin's minting. Most people toss pennies without a second thought. But in 1991, at the Denver Mint, something unusual happened. A small batch of pennies came out with what experts call a double strike, a subtle doubling of the date and mint mark. It's almost impossible to notice at first glance, but for those who know what to look for, this is the holy grail of Lincoln pennies. Collectors were shocked when the first of these coins surfaced at an auction in 2017. The bidding started quietly, and then exploded, but what happened next stunned the entire coin world. The winning bidder paid nearly $1.6 million for a coin most people wouldn't even blink at. Experts say the combination of scarcity, perfect preservation, and this rare minting error makes the 1991 Lincoln penny one of the most valuable coins in U.S. history. And here's the kicker: thousands of these coins were released into circulation, meaning one could already be sitting in your pocket change, completely unrecognized. The key is in the details. Look closely at the D mint mark. On this rare coin, it appears slightly doubled or shifted, a tiny ghost image that most people overlook. The date itself might show subtle doubling too. A magnifying glass or a smartphone camera with macro mode can reveal these hidden secrets. One misstep, one glance, and you could miss $1 million opportunity. Collectors who know about this coin are rushing to banks, dumpsters, even family coin jars. Stories are emerging of people discovering these pennies in the most unlikely places. One retired schoolteacher found one tucked inside a jar of coins she'd been saving for decades. Another man discovered it under the couch cushions. Both are now millionaires in the world of coin collecting, all because they recognized the signs of a rare minting error. This isn't just a penny. It's a story frozen in time. A small piece of copper that carries the weight of history, the drama of chance, and the thrill of discovery. Imagine the excitement of holding a coin in your hand and realizing it could change your life. Dealers describe it as electrifying. And for good reason. Every time one of these coins appears on the market, the bidding war is intense, the stakes are high, and the attention from collectors is global. But there's more to this story than just rarity. Condition matters. The penny must be in near-perfect shape to reach its $1 million value. Wear, scratches, or cleaning can reduce its worth dramatically. That's why certified grading by professional organizations like PCGS or NGC is crucial. Collectors aren't just paying for the mint error, they're paying for a preserved piece of history that will never come back again. The 1991 Lincoln penny has a specific luster. Look at it under bright light. The metal reflects in a unique way, different from ordinary pennies. Dealers say that when you see that gleam combined with the doubled mint mark, your heart should start racing. This is the signal that you might be holding a coin worth a fortune. And yet, for the casual observer, it looks like any other penny in circulation. The suspense doesn't stop there. auction records show prices skyrocketing for these pennies in just a few years. From a few $1,000s to over $1 million, this is not just about coins, it's about timing, luck, and knowledge. Imagine discovering a coin in your pocket change today, sending it for grading tomorrow, and watching the world bid against itself for your rare find. $1 million transformations happen like this, quietly, in living rooms and garages across America. Now, let's make this practical. If you want to find a 1991 D Lincoln penny worth over $1 million, here's what to do. First, gather any pennies minted in 1991 with the D Mint mark, Denver Mint coins. Second, examine them carefully for doubling on the date or mint mark. Third, check the coin's surface. It should be clean, bright, and almost flawless. Avoid any coin that shows signs of wear, corrosion, or harsh cleaning, as that reduces its value drastically. Even the tiniest detail can make the difference between a penny worth a few cents and a life-changing fortune. And that's why collectors are so obsessed. One look, one moment of recognition, and suddenly, what seemed ordinary becomes extraordinary. $1 million opportunities hide in plain sight, and the 1991 D Lincoln penny is proof. If you have 1991 D Lincoln pennies in your jar, don't just dismiss them. Check them under magnification. Look for the doubled mint mark, the subtle date doubling, the perfect luster. Every second you wait, someone else might be discovering the same coin, and the auction price continues to climb. It could be worth over $1 million. Imagine something as small as a penny, hidden in plain sight for decades, suddenly becoming the dream of every coin collector in America. That penny is the 1981 D Mint mark Lincoln penny, and what you're about to discover might make you check every jar, drawer, and pocket in your house tonight. It all started in a small, dusty coin shop in the Midwest. A collector, not looking for anything special, flipped through a batch of pennies he had picked up at a local bank. Most coins were ordinary, worn, unremarkable. But one penny caught his eye, a subtle, almost invisible difference that most people would have walked past without noticing. This tiny detail, barely perceptible to the untrained eye, was about to change his life forever. Collectors were shocked when experts examined the coin. Hidden in plain sight, the 1981 D penny carries a minting error so rare, so unusual, that only a handful exist today. Dealers across the country are scrambling, desperate to get their hands on even a single specimen. One man's pocket change became $1 million miracle, a coin that was once worth mere cents suddenly soaring into the realm of $1 million treasures. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. At a high-profile auction, this very penny fetched a jaw-dropping sum. Bids climbed faster than anyone expected, whispers of disbelief echoing through the room. Collectors who thought they knew every secret of Lincoln pennies realized they had underestimated the magnitude of this discovery. A coin minted in 1981, overlooked for decades, had finally claimed its place in history. Most people look at a penny and see a copper disc with Abraham Lincoln's face. But this coin carries a subtle flaw, a double die error that appears on the date and the mint mark. It's a detail that seems insignificant until you realize that this tiny imperfection can turn an ordinary penny into a rare collector's gem worth up to $1.70 million. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on these coins. In online auctions, the competition is fierce. Private collectors are paying top dollar, knowing that these pennies are not just rare, but legendary. And yet, despite the frenzy, most Americans have no idea they might already be holding a life-changing treasure in their pocket change. One of the most incredible stories involves a retired schoolteacher who found a 1981 D penny in a jar of coins left to her by her late father. She had no idea it was worth anything, and for years it sat untouched. When she finally showed it to an expert, her excitement turned to shock. That single coin, hidden away for decades, was worth more than she had ever imagined. A literal $1 million penny she almost missed. Collectors were not only stunned by the value but also by the rarity. The 1981 D Lincoln penny is so scarce and perfect condition that grading it professionally can sometimes take months. And even a small scratch, a slight imperfection, can dramatically reduce its value. That's why experts advise extreme caution. This coin isn't just rare, it's fragile, both in terms of physical condition and financial opportunity. This coin could be in circulation right now. It might be hiding in a cup full of spare change, tucked away in an old wallet, or even in a forgotten jar on a shelf. And all it takes is a trained eye to spot the difference. The secret lies in examining the date and mint mark carefully. Look for tiny doubling on the 1 and the D. If it's there, you could be holding a coin worth millions of dollars. Even seasoned collectors admit that spotting a true 1981 D penny isn't easy. Many pennies look similar, but only a few carry the minting flaw that turns them into legends. Experts warn about counterfeits and misidentified coins, mistakes that can cost collectors thousands if they aren't careful. That's why learning the details, understanding what to look for, and confirming authenticity is critical. The weight of history, the thrill of rarity, the unbelievable thought that something so ordinary, minted in 1981, could change your life forever. Every coin tells a story, but few tell a story as powerful as this. From obscurity to stardom, from pocket change to million-dollar treasure, the 1981 D penny embodies the ultimate collector's dream. Some collectors have spent years chasing this coin, hunting through rolls of pennies, scanning through auctions, and studying minting records. Others have stumbled upon it by sheer luck. The common thread is the same: awe, disbelief, and the pulse-racing realization that something so small could hold so much value. It's possible. And it's worth paying attention. Carefully inspect any 1981 D pennies you have, or even ones you find in circulation. Look for that double die error, the subtle mint mark, the telltale signs that separate a common penny from a coin of million-dollar potential. In the end, the story of the 1981 D Lincoln penny is more than just numbers and auction records. It's a reminder that treasures can hide in plain sight, that fortunes can be found in the most unlikely places, and that sometimes, life-changing moments arrive when you least expect them. This is not just a coin, it's history, rarity, and destiny rolled into one. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. Imagine holding a simple Lincoln penny in your hand, completely unaware that it carries a fortune within its tiny, copper frame. This isn't just any penny, it's the 1970 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin that has stunned collectors and left dealers scrambling across the country. The story begins at the Philadelphia Mint in 1970. Unlike most pennies, some of these coins were struck with subtle anomalies, tiny imperfections that the naked eye might miss, but which make this penny one of the rarest in the world. For decades, these pennies circulated quietly, blending into the piles of ordinary change in people's wallets. Few suspected that one day, a single glance at the edge of a coin could reveal a life-changing secret. Collectors were shocked when the first of these pennies surfaced in the 1980s. It was discovered not in a collector's album, but in a dusty old box of change bought at a flea market. The coin looked ordinary, yet the detail in its strike, the smooth, unbroken surface and the missing mint mark, made experts sit up straight. Dealers rushed to verify its authenticity, and within hours, whispers spread through the coin world. "This is $1 million penny," they said. And they weren't exaggerating. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. At auction, one of these 1970 no-mint mark pennies sold for over $1 million. A single coin, smaller than a thumb, transformed the life of an ordinary collector overnight. People who had casually saved their pennies began examining every roll of change, desperate to discover their own fortune hiding in plain sight. The intrigue doesn't end there. Many of these pennies carry tiny differences, imperfections that can either make or break their value. A scratch here, a slightly faded detail there, and suddenly a potential $1 million coin becomes just another penny. One man's pocket change became a $1 million miracle simply because he knew what to look for. Dealers today are still hunting for these coins, offering thousands of dollars just for a peek at a handful of pennies. It all comes down to rarity and error. The no-mint mark variety from 1970 is exceedingly rare. While millions of Lincoln pennies were produced that year, only a handful slipped through without the Philadelphia mark. Those pennies that survived decades of circulation are now treasures, their value compounded by history, scarcity, and the thrill of discovery. Every time a new 1970 no-mint mark penny surfaces, the story makes headlines. Auction rooms hold their breath as collectors and investors compete fiercely. And yet, most people still overlook the clues. It's the small details, the faint outline of a mint mark that never appeared, the precise contours of Lincoln's profile, that turn a simple copper disc into a coin worth over $1 million. Imagine finding one in your own pocket change. It sounds impossible, but the truth is, millions of Americans have unknowingly passed these pennies from hand to hand. One small glance, one careful inspection, and an ordinary moment could become extraordinary. That's why dealers are desperate to buy these coins whenever they appear. The race to find them is relentless, and for those who succeed, the payoff can be life-changing. Collectors share stories that sound almost too incredible to be true. One woman discovered a 1970 no-mint mark penny in a jar labeled "Old Coins" from her grandfather. At first, she thought it was just sentimental. After sending it for grading, she learned it was worth over $1 million. Another story tells of a man who found one at a local store, paying only a few cents at the register. That coin would later be auctioned for a fortune, turning an ordinary errand into a historic moment in the coin world. But don't be fooled, not every 1970 penny is valuable. Many people confuse the no-mint mark variety with common pennies from that year. The exact characteristics to look for are subtle: the absence of a D or S mint mark, the precise details in Lincoln's profile, the sharpness of the coin's edges. Even tiny wear can reduce the value dramatically. That's why knowledge is power. Knowing the details, spotting the rare anomaly, and acting quickly can turn a humble penny into a multimillion-dollar opportunity. It's not just collectors who are captivated. Coin dealers, auction houses, and investors all understand that this penny is a gateway to fortune. They watch every marketplace, every garage sale, every jar of spare change, hoping to be the first to spot the next treasure. And the suspense keeps growing, because you never know when or where the next $1 million penny will appear. Start by checking every 1970 penny in your collection. Look closely at the mint mark area. If there's nothing stamped, you may be holding something extraordinary. Examine the edges and Lincoln's profile for clarity and detail. Avoid coins that are heavily worn, scratched, or altered, as even a minor imperfection can drastically lower value. And when in doubt, have the coin professionally graded. One expert appraisal can confirm whether you're holding a once-in-a-lifetime coin or just a regular penny. Remember, this exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. The next time you reach into your pocket or your wallet, pause. Examine that coin. Hold it up to the light. That small, unassuming copper disc may just be your ticket to a fortune that could change your life forever. It's commanding prices that most people only dream about, nearly $1 million. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that could completely change your life. One ordinary penny, minted in 1964, now has collectors and dealers in a frenzy. But the real story isn't just about the number. It's about how this coin survived decades unnoticed, tucked away in a drawer, only to surface as one of the most valuable Lincoln pennies in the world. The 1964 no-mint mark Lincoln penny was minted during a time of change in the United States. This was the year when copper cents were still common, but subtle variations in minting created a rare treasure that only a few people even know exists. Hidden within the thousands of pennies that rolled out of the Philadelphia Mint, a small percentage carried a quirk, a hidden minting characteristic that would later send shockwaves through the collecting community. Collectors were shocked when the first of these coins appeared at auction. Experts had expected modest interest, but the bidding soared, reaching numbers that seemed impossible for a single penny. Dealers who had been chasing rare coins for decades suddenly realized that they were looking at a once-in-a-lifetime find. What made this coin so extraordinary wasn't just its age, but the unique traits that distinguish it from every other 1964 penny in circulation. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. A man, completely unaware of what he had, found one of these pennies tucked inside a stack of coins he had saved from his childhood. To him, it was just another piece of pocket change, until he took it to a local coin dealer. The dealer immediately recognized the subtle signs that this was no ordinary penny. That tiny detail, almost invisible to the untrained eye, is exactly what drives its value into the millions. The secret lies in the coin's origin. The 1964 no-mint mark penny from Philadelphia had a very specific die that produced an ultra-rare striking variation. Over the years, most coins from that die were lost, melted down, or destroyed, making surviving specimens nearly impossible to find. And this is why dealers are rushing to get their hands on any potential 1964 no-mint mark pennies, because each one could be $1 million discovery waiting to happen. Collectors around the country have stories that seem too incredible to believe. One man bought a bag of coins at a flea market for just a few dollars and ended up selling a single 1964 no-mint mark penny for more than $800,000. Another story comes from an estate sale, where a coin tucked away in an old jewelry box turned out to be the most valuable penny the family had ever owned. These are not just stories of money, they are stories of timing, luck, and incredible knowledge that most people have walked past a potential $1 million coin without even realizing it. In banks, in jars, in cash drawers, these pennies could be sitting unnoticed, blending in with ordinary change. That tiny, overlooked detail, the lack of a mint mark, is what sets it apart. It's almost as if the coin itself was hiding, waiting for someone patient enough to notice its extraordinary value. Dealers have developed a near-obsessive hunt for these coins. Professional numismatists examine hundreds of pennies per day, looking for the subtle signs, the precise spacing of letters, the tiniest shifts in the design, the subtle weight difference that most people would never notice. It's a high-stakes game, and each find could be worth hundreds of thousands, or even over $1 million. But what makes this coin truly remarkable is the emotional story behind it. One man's pocket change became $1 million miracle. Families have been transformed overnight, suddenly able to pay off debts, start businesses, or secure their children's future, all from a single 1964 penny with no mint mark. It's the kind of story that reminds us why coin collecting isn't just a hobby, it's a doorway to unexpected fortune. Now, if you're wondering how to find one, this is crucial. First, check for the absence of a mint mark on the obverse, right under the ear. Second, look for tiny variations in the die strike, the sharpness of Lincoln's features, the spacing between the letters, and the subtle depth of the inscriptions. Many coins are mistakenly passed off as ordinary, and missing these details can cost collectors millions. It's also important to handle coins carefully. Oils from fingers can damage the surfaces, reducing their value drastically. Use gloves, proper lighting, and a magnifying lens to examine each potential find. Even a small scratch or imperfection can separate a regular penny from $1 million treasure. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. That simple, small piece of copper has survived decades, waiting silently for someone to notice its true value. It's not just a coin, it's a ticket to unimaginable possibilities, a testament to patience, curiosity, and the thrill of discovery. One ordinary penny could change your life forever. The 1964 no-mint mark Lincoln penny isn't just history. It's $1 million mystery waiting to be uncovered, and you might be the lucky one to find it. But when a coin dealer saw it, his jaw dropped. That tiny, copper-colored penny, a simple 2011 D Lincoln cent, would later be valued at over $1.3 million. And the craziest part? Millions of Americans have handled this exact kind of coin without ever realizing what they were holding. It's one of the most shocking modern discoveries in U.S. coin history. A coin so ordinary, so new, that most collectors ignored it, until one day, a mysterious error changed everything. And tonight you're about to find out how one 2011 D penny became $1 million legend. The story begins in Denver, 2011. The U.S. Mint was striking billions of Lincoln cents, continuing the long-running Shield design series introduced the year before. Nothing unusual, or so everyone thought. But under the roar of machinery, something went wrong, a subtle imperfection, invisible to most eyes, that turned a single copper-plated zinc coin into a collector's dream. When the first rumors surfaced, few believed them. A man from Colorado claimed he found a 2011 D penny with a ghosted Lincoln image, the doubling effect so sharp it looked like a shadow following the president's profile. Most dismissed it as a trick of light, or wishful thinking. But experts soon confirmed it wasn't an illusion. This was a genuine doubled die obverse, an ultra-rare minting error created when the die itself was struck twice out of alignment. But that wasn't the only mystery. Some examples showed a faint, distorted, D mint mark, as if the punch had slipped. The detail was so bizarre that professional graders stopped and stared. One even said, "I've never seen anything like this on a modern penny." And then it happened. A verified specimen appeared at a major coin auction. The bidding began modestly, $500, then $1,000. Within minutes, the room erupted. Phones buzzed, online bids poured in, and veteran dealers scrambled to outdo each other. By the time the hammer fell, that little 2011 D penny had sold for a life-changing sum, over $1.3 million. Collectors were stunned. How could a coin minted so recently, one that still jingled in pockets across the country, be worth more than a house? The answer lay in its combination of perfection and mistake, flawless preservation, but born from a once-in-a-generation error. As word spread, people began digging through their change jars, searching every penny with a magnifying glass. Coin forums exploded overnight. Dealers were desperate to authenticate anything that looked even remotely unusual. Suddenly, 2011 D pennies, once ignored, became treasures. One collector from Texas claimed he found another in an old coffee can of spare change. Another man said he spotted a suspicious, shadowed, Lincoln face under bright light. Some were real, some were not. But the frenzy had begun. The truth is, the U.S. Mint occasionally produces accidental masterpieces, coins that slip through the cracks of precision, creating one-of-a-kind treasures. And that's exactly what this 2011 D penny became, a modern miracle of imperfection. First, the mint mark. On genuine high-value specimens, the D is slightly misplaced. It may appear a bit lower or slightly tilted compared to normal 2011 Denver strikes. Under magnification, you might even see a faint doubling inside the D itself. Next, examine Lincoln's face and the word Liberty. True doubled die versions show crisp, doubled lines around the letters and along Lincoln's jaw and ear. It's not a blur, it's a clear, sharp repetition of detail, as if the image was printed twice. Also, pay attention to the coin's surface. The million-dollar examples are flawless. No scratches, no fingerprints, no corrosion. They shine with that original mint luster that experts call red. If your 2011 D penny still gleams like it just left the press, you're already ahead. But here's the twist most people miss. Some of these rare coins are believed to have come from early 2011 batches, before a recalibration at the Denver Mint. So if you have rolls or sealed bank bags from that period, they could be hiding one of these golden tickets. Dealers today are still offering top dollar for verified examples, and grading companies like PCGS and NGC have added special designations for high-grade 2011 D error since. One coin graded MS67 Red recently sold privately for 6 figures, and experts predict its value could climb even higher as time passes. Think about that. A penny that cost 1 cent to make, now worth over $1 million. It's the dream of every collector, every treasure hunter, every person who's ever wondered if fortune could be hiding in plain sight. And here's something few people know. In some rare 2011 D specimens, the reverse shield shows faint die cracks near the top banner, almost like tiny lightning bolts across the surface. Those cracks, while small, can increase value dramatically when paired with a doubled obverse. But the real secret lies in knowledge, in knowing what you're looking at before everyone else does. Most people will toss their pennies without a thought. They'll spend them, drop them, or sweep them into jars. But a select few, the ones who take a closer look, will discover history hiding in their hands. Collectors say this coin represents the future of modern numismatics. Proof that valuable treasures don't have to be ancient or silver. Sometimes, the next $1 million coin is as new as yesterday. So before you spend your spare change, take a moment. Hold that 2011 D penny under the light. Look closely at Lincoln's face, at the D, at the word Liberty. Because one of those tiny details might just change your life, The story of the 2011 D. Lincoln penny reminds us that even in the most ordinary moments, even in the jingling of coins in your pocket, there's a chance for a miracle. A single mistake by the mint, a lucky discovery by an everyday person, and suddenly, the impossible becomes real. Collectors are still searching. Dealers are still waiting. And somewhere, perhaps in a drawer or a dusty jar, another 2011 D penny worth over $1 million is just sitting there, quietly, patiently, waiting to be found. That ordinary penny might be your ticket to $1 million miracle.